By definition, these people are natural problem solvers. Governments need to remove the roadblocks to their success and put in place mechanism to support them. The youth of the Middle East are our most valuable natural resources. We need to give them a creative outlet to showcase their talents, which until now has been not allowed to flower. Youth must learn to think for themselves and understand the Quran as their own. They must learn to make their own decision and realize what the true Islam is, as opposed to how some groups tell them the Quran should be understood. The changes we are seeking cannot happen overnight. There must be a chance of priority. We all need to spend more time looking outward and learning from others, leaving behind our current selfish views and focusing on past wrongs. The Fahd Salim Center promotes proactive decision-making and cooperation by citizens, governments, and businesses the world over. We need to develop and use our creative minds, something you do here at Georgetown University. We need to develop and use our creative minds, something you do here at Georgetown University. Thank you for having me here today. It has been a pleasure to be surrounded by such dynamic forward thinkers. I look forward for any answer you wish to have. Thank you very much.
The role of Al Jazeera in the current Arab Spring, so-called Arab Spring, because I've been reading the Arabic website of Al Jazeera, and many times I found that when I read other media outlets, the news were like contradictory. And always Al Jazeera was giving more hopeful news about the rebels. So my question is whether Al Jazeera, do you think, have a political agenda or not in its coverage? Thank you.
Thank you. This problem is not happening with Al Jazeera only. We have a lot of media around the world. Some people think that they're wrong, and some people think they're right. But as the chairman of Fahd Salim Center, we support transparency, full transparency in media, in politics, in social connection and social life. We don't take sides. We insist on a peaceful change in the Middle East, because unstable Middle East will affect the rest of the world. United States is not far away from unstable states in the Middle East. Europe is not far away from unstable situation, and I think Europe has begun to feel this in the last days concerning people immigrating to Europe and the increase of oil and increase of prices all around the world. As you know, Jazeera is a pioneer for Arabic news in the area. But I think when you said we find a indirect information, that means that competition is good. You go to Jazeera, you go to Al Arabiya, And if you don't find your information, come to me. I'm very happy to give you the right information. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Highness, for coming. My question is, I think you know that your government sponsors and is very interested in education and has a Sabah chair here at the university.
Yeah.
And I think with the inauguration of your center and this previous relationship that exists, that there are more avenues of cooperation between Georgetown and your center and Georgetown and Kuwait. And so I was wondering if you could elaborate on some of the vision that you have for that, if possible.
I can't get in details because I'm waiting for the next meeting or the first meeting of the board of the center in Kuwait. I hope so in next month. Board of trustees, and what I can say that next month in the meeting, and there's many people all around the world will be in this meeting, and I think they are well known for their role in human change, human rights and liberties and democratic procedures around the world. But concerning the Georgetown, I'll give you a secret, another secret. I have an older brother graduated from this university. So we are a family, been graduating with this university. And I think my brother in Kuwait will have a big influence on me when I get back concerning his university. But I hope that, as I mentioned, my opinion that Georgetown will give the push for the effort for the center to not promote, to force dialogue by peaceful means. We're in countries or in a region with this changing that we have around the Middle East, and this change will go everywhere, not the Middle East. Maybe it's begun in the Middle East, but it will continue everywhere else. But it's very important that when my belief, and I don't speak on behalf of the government or my family, I'm speaking on behalf of myself as a center. We believe that this change will continue until more democratic procedures and freedom has been implemented. And the more it's delayed, the more level of freedom and democracy demands arises. And we believe that in the center, the best way to stable the situation for our countries and around the world is to have this session or this changing in a peaceful timetable change with the agreement of all parties in the region. And as I mentioned and Dean mentioned, that the center for this has been opened in New York. We have our office in Empire State Building. And through the office in New York, I think we can let's say, ask our friends in US to participate in this transaction in the Middle East. And through our office, other office in Kuwait, in the middle of the crisis countries, I think we can manage to connect these both offices. And our third office in Paris, in France, I think that when you look at it, you can make like what you call a rainbow between these three offices that you can get the result. I've been here beginning of the week. I went to New York, I came to Washington. I met with institute, I met with personal people interested in the center as a goal. And I've seen that and heard that the support was not good, it was excellent. Concerning the role of the United States as a big country, the biggest country in the world, to participate through a peaceful change. And everyone knows that the United States has the influence and the friendship of leaders and countries in the region to persuade them to move now than late. We saw what happened in Libya. And I think Libyan crisis is too far to have it now in a position of dialogue. Blood is all around. People are being killed from all sides. And what I know that nobody is, I don't think it's very, very, very hard for any country to put soldiers on the ground. So we're going to see Libya in more tragic events in future. And unless we act now and stop it with a dialogue, with a little push from here and there to stop this violence in Libya on a basis that this is the benefit for everyone, even in the United States. Thank you.
Thank you for the important work you're doing. I'd like to know from you, how do you communicate on these issues with the people in the Middle East?
Okay. That's a very good question. I know it's very, very difficult. From the view that I am saying, that I believe in, it's not a new believing. It's been for a few years ago. And for this, I did open a newspaper, I did open a TV station, and most of all, I did an infrastructure for communication and broadcasting from Kuwait. And I've been working on this infrastructure for the last 3 years. And 2 months ago, I announced this project in Paris. And unfortunately, and thanks God, announcing the project and rejecting violence, I nearly died because of this. But the infrastructure in Kuwait, I think, will go globally in near future through connecting satellite and ground services, and moves to yourself instead of asking you to come to us. And I hope that we support and promote peace and justice and promote, most of all, dialogue between civilization, either civil or even between religious differences.
You pay a price for your beliefs and your courage, and I'm wondering the type of burden that has placed on you and sort of what drives you to continue speaking out, even though at times there's a heavy price to pay. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. When my country was occupied by Iraq in 1990, I went to Saudi Arabia, and as I mentioned to my colleagues and Before that, I stayed 16 hours only in Saudi Arabia.